Well, Moussa Diaby to Arsenal divergence. It looks like there is a huge gap now, or there is a gulf on him joining Arsenal in there for you. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David, third video of the day, and we are geared up by the Lord and the Holy Spirit. For my Muslim friends, enjoy your holy month of Ramadan and fast, because every time you fast, you come closer to Allah, all God. How are you guys? How have you been? You know, it's really one of those days that we can't wait to really see ourselves, prepare ourselves for the game of Arsenal, Liverpool versus Man City. And tomorrow, we are throwing them in, guys. Tomorrow, guys, get ready for the preview of Arsenal versus Leeds. Get ready for the preview of Man City versus Liverpool. And very many other games that are really going to be played. But over this weekend, there are 3 games that are going to be a must-watch. Your eyeballs should be set onto these games. Liverpool versus Man City. It's the early Kickstarter, lunchtime kickoff. We are going to be doing everything possible to present to you everything concerning that game. You saw the first story today about Luis Diaz returning, a huge boost for Liverpool. And I'm going to be doing my research tomorrow whether Erling Haaland is going to be back. For Arsenal, Thomas Partey, we are waiting to see what is happening from the training ground at Carrington. So not at Carrington, at London Conley, and I'm waiting to see whether my correspondents from that side really get me a clue on what is happening that side on Thomas Partey. But I all know that tomorrow, by the time I come in through to do the match preview of Arsenal versus Leeds, I'll be here with a lot of information about Thomas Partey. So guys, I'm so much excited. We are getting back to the Premier League. You know, we last saw these teams play club football on 19th. That's it. And from 19th to 31st, those are close to 2 weeks without no football. So we are back, and I think you know what it means when you are back. Now, today, Kai Havertz, a player of Chelsea, has gone ahead and informed to us how important Jorginho was and why he misses him at Chelsea. And it shows you the gold that Arsenal got. You know, it was not until people saw how Jorginho played those 3-4 games when Partey was injured that they really corrected their thoughts on him, but they had not yet aligned their thoughts into positivity with Jorginho. And lastly, we are talking a little bit of a player of Arsenal, Martin Odegaard, the tackle that almost looked like a career-ending tackle from Rodri onto him, and what the experts have gone ahead to say about that tackle. So let's see close to 200 likes much on this video, not so? Because we want to see this video going viral. Now, Moussa Diaby is one of those players that came to the ladder of Arsenal in the summer transfer window of 2022. Arsenal wanted to sign him, and they are so much in need of a left-footed player playing as a right winger or a right forward. If at all you don't understand any of those, let me paint that picture very well onto your canvas that is really clean. In the Bukayo Saka seat, in the Bukayo Saka position. You all know that Bukayo Saka is overplayed, and it might affect his career sometimes, because there is no way you're going to rotate him, because you have no player who can play into that position of Bukayo Saka. And Arsenal, we are so much onto signing a player known as Moussa Diaby. Even Kroenke, Stanley, the owner of Arsenal, came out and gave them green light to go on and really sign the player known as Moussa Diaby. But Arsenal looked like they had problems with the financial fair play rule, that the 3 years of the Premier League had come into play, and the 50th year of the the 50th year that UEFA comes in through to audit the books of accounts of Arsenal were into play, and they couldn't get that deal done and dusted. So because it was a 60 million euro deal, close to 52 million pounds, they needed to sign that player. That's why they fine-tuned a little bit and went in for a CDM, and they want to go in for Luis Diaz. They wanted to go in for Danilo from Palmeiras, who is now playing for Nottingham, and they wanted to spend close to 25 million pounds only. So the space they had been left with was to spend only 25 million pounds. You get? So things never went the way they wanted, and we thought that maybe this summer they would go in for him, and I did the story that Arsenal are in for him, and the fact is they are in for him, but there is a divergence or a gulf into Arsenal doing the needful sign this player. And what has caused it? This is what Steve K, a very close associate or correspondent for Arsenal, has gone ahead and told us that Arsenal's pursuit this summer for the highly rated Bayern Leverkusen winger Moussa Diaby will largely come down to leftover budget after completion of the club's main priority signings in the summer. Full focus will be bringing in 2 midfielders and a right back. So things really change hugely. You know, when you look at the club of Arsenal, they've been having a need to get in a left-footed winger who plays in the Bukayo Saka situation or Bukayo Saka position. But as it stands, things are really trying to diverge from that side. To me, I thought this transfer window, Arsenal priority signings would have been 2 midfielders, a right attacking midfielder, a right back, and a striker. So I see Arsenal signing close to 5 players, but they're hitting about the budget that however much they're interested in Moussa Diaby, the budget is the one that is going to really be what we call the ultimatum. So what is the budget of Arsenal going to be? You know, last season, Arsenal spent 121 million pounds. You get? In the summer, they spent close to 12 million pounds on Jorginho. They spent 27 on Trossard. That is like 40 million pounds, and some 20. They spent close to 60 million pounds in the January transfer window. But I'm not going to count the transfer window in January. I'm going to go all out and really plan or look at what they were spending the previous summers. Last summer of 2022, they spent 121 million pounds. The other summer of 2021, they spent 150 million pounds. Now, that means the budget of Arsenal is in the region of 150 to 160. And it has been like that when Arsenal has not been playing in the Champions League. You get? And they've not been into the top 4 position of the Premier League. And to be so much clear, all vivid onto that, they've not been in a position of winning the league. Trust me, a team that is going to win the league is going to get close to 500 million pounds as the prize money. So when you add on the money Arsenal is going to get from Champions League when they participate, add on the Adidas money, I think they're going to be getting like 70 million pounds when they qualify for the Champions League. So there is a lot of money for Arsenal to really increase, meaning that if they've been spending 150 million pounds on average for the previous 2 summers, when they're not in the Champions League, that means this time around they are going to spend more. I think they can spend 200 million pounds. Now, let's count on to 200 million pounds that Arsenal is going to be having. Now, Steve K is telling us that Arsenal is going to be spending that amount of money on 3 players. The balance will be used to go in for Moussa Diaby. Now, who are those 3 players? Declan Rice, close to 78 million pounds, and Moise Caicedo, close to 70 million pounds. That is 150 million pounds, meaning that Arsenal will be left with a budget of 50 million pounds. When you look at the right back that Arsenal wants, he can go for like, is it Fresneda? Is it going to be Fresneda? Fresneda is at like 10 million pounds. That means Arsenal will be having a balance of 40 million pounds. For Arsenal to get Moussa Diaby, they need to collect 12 million pounds more to add it to the 40 and get in Moussa Diaby. To me, I think the balance left after signing 3 players will be so much little for Arsenal to miss out on Moussa Diaby. So to me, I see this deal as a deal that is so much alive. I don't know how you see it, but that's my calculation, because Arsenal might spend close to 200 million pounds. They're going to be having the money to spend, but the big question has always been the balance. If you are to go on the narrative of what Steve K is telling us, Arsenal will be having 40 million pounds left after signing Fresneda, Moise Caicedo and Declan Rice. But there is another different scenario that can see Moussa Diaby fit into the budget of Arsenal after signing those 3 players? If at all, on either Declan Rice or Moise Caicedo, they drop one and they bring in Lavia, because Lavia is at like 40-45 million pounds, meaning that if you get Declan Rice or Caicedo on an average of 80 million pounds, then you get in Lavia at 40 million pounds, that is close to 120 million pounds. You add on Fresneda, who Arsenal were chasing for in the January transfer window to sign as a right back. That is like 130 million pounds. Arsenal will be left with 70 million pounds to spend, meaning that out of the 70, get out like 52 million pounds. They'll be even having a balance of like 18 million pounds. So to me, I think it's workable, it's doable according to me. So I think have a match there diverging from Moussa Diaby and converging towards 2 midfielders and a right back. I think money will be there. Money will be there because I know there are some players Arsenal is going to move on and sell. One of those is Cedric Soares. I think he'll go for like 5 million pounds. Which other player is Arsenal going to sell? If you hear no conversation of a centre forward, that means Balogun is going to come in back at Arsenal and obviously be retained by the manager. If at all they are not talking about signing a centre forward, you get Steve Kerr. According to Steve Kerr, that means Balogun is really considered a player to stay at Arsenal. So I think Arsenal are not going to make very many sales. I think there is Kieran Tierney, whom they can really get close to 30-40 million pounds from. So I think this deal is doable. It can be worked out in a very systematic way that everyone will be really willing to know about. So that's all about Moussa Diaby, and I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but I've given you all situations that can really enable the deal to happen through, and I think it's not going to fall through. It's not going to fall through according to me. They are not going to really miss out on signing a right attacking winger with the left foot. That's it, because Saka needs some time to be rotated, because they're going to be playing the Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and Arsenal will be wanting to go all out and compete in all 4 tournaments, not participate. Now, leaving Moussa Diaby at that, let's see what Kai Havertz has told us about Jorginho on his move to Arsenal that came in quick and shocked everyone. He's like the 4th player of Chelsea that came in through and really said or told us that he was shocked when this happened. Now, Jorginho said, it's not Jorginho, it's Kai Havertz. I played with Jorginho for 2.5 years. He changed next to me. I loved being with him, and then he calls me one evening and says, I'm gone. I was like, what the fuck? How is this possible? This is how quick things change, and it's all about being human. And now it shows you how he was a very influential figure in the dressing room. You know, to me, this is just surplus to what Thiago Silva told us. A player with the experience of Thiago Silva to come out and say that they are going to miss Jorginho in the dressing room because he was a very big figure doing an emphatic job onto those players in Chelsea squad. It's really priceless. You know, there are certain things that are really priceless and you cannot get them for money. Now, Jorginho moved to Arsenal on just 12 million pounds. That's why they paid to Chelsea. But the level of his leadership skills are really immense and being missed at Chelsea. And he left there a very huge vacuum that needs to be really fulfilled. I don't know by who or not, but let's wait and see. One will say, but they have their captain. Guys, every team needs like 5 leaders. That's it. And for the starters of the season, Arsenal had like 3 leaders that were really given a role to captain and lead the team. Odegaard on the helm. Xhaka, assistant captain. Jesus is the 3rd captain. Now, they are lacking another leader. Zinchenko looks like so much onto the field of play as a very competitive and really very sounding player, but he's not a leader as Jorginho. Now, Jorginho coming to the club of Arsenal is really one of those additions that just gave Arsenal depth onto the pitch and again, more leadership skills than anyone will ever think about. That's it. So, as it stands, it's all about Kai Havertz telling Arsenal how good the goal they took in Jorginho at Arsenal. And at Chelsea, they are missing the player, but he's really doing great things for Arsenal, because even in this weekend match against Leeds, I think he's going to come in through and play against Leeds, because Thomas Partey looks like his recovery is needed a lot, as I think Arsenal fans need Thomas Partey a lot in the game of Liverpool that Arsenal is going to play next weekend, more than they do in the game of Leeds, and it's going to be at home. And then lastly, we know that Rodri, during the game of Norway and Spain, he had a very ridiculous tackle onto Martin Odegaard, and nothing was given. Neither a yellow card, never the referee blew the whistle. But Kevin Campbell, you know him very well. He once played for Arsenal, and he's really one of those players that really scored very many goals for Arsenal. He has gone ahead and told us that it was a terrible tackle. That's the problem, not even a yellow or even a penalty. But Rodri, the least he should have got is a yellow card. And where was the penalty? That should have been a penalty. Where was the penalty? And to me, I think this is where you ask yourself, people operating on VAR sometimes, are their brains not on planet Earth and on Mars? Because there are things that are really evident for us to see, you know? But VAR just foregoes looking onto them again and again. But to me, it was a very nice tackle on Martin Odegaard, and no Arsenal fan would have loved that to happen. But the good thing is that he's fully fit. Even yesterday, when Norway was playing Georgia in that game, he played 90 minutes, so he's returning to Arsenal, and I know he's going to train on Thursday and Friday in preparation for that game of Arsenal as they take on Leeds at the Emirates. So guys, your thoughts on Moussa Diaby to Arsenal divergency are welcome in the comment section below. Do you think Arsenal are going to bring him on or not? Will he be the third or fourth signing of Arsenal? Because Arsenal have three priorities ahead of Moussa Diaby: two midfielders centrally and a right back to come in and play the game of football. That means Tomiyasu's time at Arsenal might be really running short, or Mikel Arteta won't be wanting to sign a right-footed central defender, and he might be willing to really see Ben White sometimes getting back into the central defense to compete with William Saliba. And Jorginho, your thoughts about that? And Odegaard versus Rodri, your thoughts are welcome in the comment section below. I sign out for now. See you later. May the Almighty Lord protect you through the night, and good night, my mates. One more video to go. It's going to be uploaded in the next 3 hours from now. Bye-bye.